Today I got a story probably one of the craziest emo kids of all time, and I've told a lot of crazy stories, so strap in, subscribe if you like stories, and let's call today's subscriber, let's call her Luna. So Luna was a tennis player and was pretty good at tennis, and over the summer, her mom sent Luna to a tennis camp, and this story starts pretty far through the tennis camp. So the tennis camp lasted about 1 week long, and on the last day, which was Friday, all the parents would come and they would watch kind of like a tennis tournament of all the kids who were playing and learning how to play and getting better during the week. There would be a big tournament. They would have like, I don't know, a fake little trophy thing, but the main important thing was that there was a big tournament at the end of the week and all the parents came to watch. So this story starts on that Thursday. So this is the day before the last day, which is the big event. And this tennis camp took place at a college, so they had access to a college dining hall. And Luna and her two friends were walking, to go try and find a table. And Luna's two friends said, "Oh, look over there," or one of Luna's friends said, "Oh, look over there. There's a table." So Luna's two other friends, went over and sat down at the table. Luna said, "I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get something." So Luna walks over to the dining hall, grabs something to eat, and is walking back. And while Luna's walking back, she's not really paying attention. Like, she's kind of like, I don't know, spacing out or looking on her phone, or for some reason, she's not paying full attention to her surroundings. So unfortunately, she bumps into this guy. And, the guy had a tray of food, and the food, honestly, it wasn't even that bad. Like, the food, sure, like a little bit got on his shirt, but it wasn't like the entire tray exploded all over his shirt and his clothes were soiled and ruined beyond repair. Like, yeah, dude, you got sprayed a little bit. That sucks, but it's time to move on. And Luna was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. That's so embarrassing." And like, she's like, "I'm so sorry. Like, I wasn't paying attention." And this kid, Luna's looking at this kid, and this kid is very clearly like an emo kid. And by the way, there's nothing wrong if you dress like goth or emo or whatever. It's a style, and I think a lot of my viewers have the style, and I don't personally do it myself. That isn't my style, but I rock with you if you do that. No hard feelings. However, if you're like this emo kid, bro, you got to change some things in your life. That's all I'm saying. Because this emo kid looks at Luna, looks her dead in the eyes, and then takes out a book. And Luna's like, what? And the emo kid, so he has this book in his hand, and Luna notices that there's like ancient hieroglyphics. Dude, my brain is not working right now. There's like ancient like letters and all these like symbols on the book. Basically, it looks like a wizard or witch book or something. And Luna's thinking to herself, all right, there's no shot that like that's actually like a wizard book or something. And the emo kid reaches into his back pocket and takes out a wand. So he opens up the spell book and he's waving his wand around. He's like, "You have made a great enemy. You have made a great mistake bumping into me on purpose." And Luna's like, "It wasn't on purpose, man. Like, I swear to you, like, I wasn't paying attention and I apologize for that. I should have been paying attention. You're right. Like, that's on me. However, like, come on now. It was an accident. I don't know what you're doing. I don't know what kind of nonsense doobly-doop you're doing right now." But he's like, "Silence, mortal." And he's like waving his wand around. He's like, "Hibbity-bibbity-bobbity-boo. I put a something like super goofy, but like supposedly like, I don't know, wizard tongue or something." He's like, "Beepity boop, boppity bee." I'm like, okay, bro, like, let's calm down now. And he's like, "There, you've been cursed." And he slams the book shut with one hand, puts the wand back in his pocket, puts the book back into his backpack, which he was carrying around. Or I guess not a backpack. I guess it was like a tennis bag with a racket in it. And the emo kid walks off. And Luna is just standing there, just kind of like, what just happened? Like, can we just have like a little pause and a rewind of what just happened here? Because I don't think that like I really understood what was going on, because there's not a shot that actually just happened. So Luna goes back to the table with her two friends, and her two friends are like, "What took you so long?" And Luna's like, "Well, I actually have a very interesting answer that I bet you guys were not expecting." So Luna tells them the story, and they're like, one of them was just like, "Oh my God, that's crazy." The other one was like, "Dude, like, I know that kid. Like, I was in a tennis group earlier this morning. We're practicing forehands. I know that kid. He was so weird, bro. He was all like, shisha." Okay, he wasn't like the other emo kid, bro. I'm just playing around. But he was like all like in the corner, hushed away. And when the coach like said to him it was his turn, he kind of like looked up at him and flicked his long dark hair back, kind of sighed, and then like hit a forehand or something. And they're like, that kid was super weird, but I had no idea that he was like that weird. Because there's a difference between being kind of weird and putting spells on people randomly. Like, that's just two different ballparks, bro. Quick comment emo down below if you want to heart in your comment. That is the secret word of the day, and I will do my best to heart as many comments as possible. I'm still getting over some complications with the wisdom teeth, and that might take a couple days, so please don't take it personally if I don't heart your comment. Do know I still really appreciate it. And also, shout out to all the people who've been binge watching my videos, like going through and watching a ton of them, either via the playlist or just through the recommended. Please let me know in the comment section when you're doing this so I can heart it and say thank you, and just know that you're supporting the channel more than you can even imagine at this point. I really appreciate it. Back to the story. It gets crazy. Anyways, right, so the next day rolls around, and remember that, Luna was at a tennis camp, and on the last day, which was the next day, because this whole spell incident happened on a Thursday, and the last day was on a Friday. So it was Friday, it was the last day, and it was only like a half day because the parents would come and pick you up by the end of it. But anyways, right, there was a big tennis tournament, and all the parents came to watch. So it was a pretty big deal. And so everyone was sitting around on the tennis court, and like the coach was standing at the very front. Everyone was sitting on the tennis court, and he was reading off his list of like, all right, guys, like, thank you for all your hard work this week. And finally, it pays off. Just know that, win or lose, like, we just want to make sure you have a fun time, and that, there can only be one winner, so you can't take it that personally if you don't win. The most important thing is to, like, good sportsmanship and have a fun time. And anyways, let me read off the pairings. So the pairings were read off, and Luna had a first round match where she played against some random guy or something, and she was better. She was probably one of the top 10 people at the camp. She didn't expect to win the tournament. The other people, were some people that were much better than her, and maybe they're having a bad day or whatever, but Luna just wanted to go out there, have some fun. So Luna's first round match went down really well. She won 6-2, 6-3, which is pretty solid win. If you guys know tennis, I used to play tennis a lot back in the day. That's why I can tell this story so well, at least the tennis parts. But anyways, things get really interesting when Luna goes into her second round match. The second round match is against a familiar character that you guys may or may not remember from earlier in the story. Yes, Luna is playing the Emo Kid, and let me just say that Luna did not forget the Emo Kid, but very well the converse is true too, because the Emo Kid had not forgotten about Luna either. Which means, yes, Luna versus the Emo Kid are about to play after the Emo Kid put a spell on her. And Luna's just looking at her opponent like, there's no way. There's no way, man. There's no way. So anyways, right, Luna, so when you play tennis, you normally, like, you will warm up with your partner and then you'll get into playing. But basically, you both stand on two sides of a net, just very quickly for people who don't know. And so Luna was standing on one side of the net, and the Emo Kid was, like, sulking over and kind of, like, was all hunched over and kind of, like, wandered over to the other side of the net. And so Luna walks up to kind of, like, the net in between, and the Emo Kid walks up as well. And Luna's like, all right, like, do you want to warm up? And the Emo Kid is like, insert maniacal laugh. I can't do a maniacal laugh right now. I just can't do it. So insert, like, the most evil maniacal laugh from, like, TV shows and movies you can think of. And dude, out of all the responses Luna was expecting, okay, Luna was either expecting like yes or no. It was a yes or no question. But out of all the responses that Luna was expecting, let me just say that a maniacal laugh was not on the list, dude. Like, it just was not on the list. And so Luna's kind of just thinking like, okay. And then the Emo Kid goes on to say, like, finishes up his maniacal laugh and is like, why would I need to warm up when I have the curse on my side? And Luna was just like, oh, so we're still going with that. We're not just going to, like, because Luna was kind of thinking, all right, well, let's just put yesterday behind us because that was very weird. You know what? Luna gave this guy, the privilege of allowing, just to put that behind them. Because normally that's not a thing you just put behind, right? The fact that, like, you got a spell put on you, normally you don't just forget about that. But Luna was like, oh, okay, so no warm-up? And the Emo Kid said, yeah. Well, I mean, I have the curse on my side, so why would I need to warm up anyways? And Luna was like, all right, fine, I really got to smack this kid. So Luna and the Emo Kid kind of go immediately into playing the match, and so Luna spins the racket, and sure enough, it is the Emo Kid's choice. So basically, in the beginning of tennis, you spin like heads or tails, and if you get it right, you can choose to serve or have the other person serve. And the Emo Kid starts maniacally laughing. So once again, insert the like maniacal evil villain laugh after the racket is spun. And, Luna's just kind of looking at him like, dude, what? And the Emo Kid is like, looks like my curse is already working. Insert again another maniacal laugh. And Luna's just thinking to herself, all right, bro, like, let's not jump to conclusions. There's a 50-50 chance that you were going to get that. Like, come on now. In the back of Luna's mind, she was like, well, I wonder if the curse is real, but her rational mind was able to take control and be like, all right, let's just smack this kid. I know I'm better than him. So sure enough, right, the Emo Kid starts serving. Basically, that's the way you start a tennis point. So the Emo Kid throws it up, bops it in, and the serve is not that good. Serve is the hardest part of tennis, in my opinion. But the serve is not that good. And Luna, really wanting to have a good impression to kind of quote-unquote break the curse, winds up a massive forehand, completely crunches it, and obliterates the Emo Kid in the first point. Like, this ball is blazing off of Luna's racket and just smack right past the Emo Kid. The Emo Kid wasn't even, like, the Emo Kid plus the curse were not good enough to give him the reaction time to be able to deal with it. That's how bad this whole thing was, dude. So Luna looks up at the Emo Kid, giving her the dirtiest look ever, because I don't think the Emo Kid realized that Luna was one of the top players at the tennis camp, but he now realized that, he was probably not going to win this. I think he walked in with a lot of confidence, also trying to scare her off because of, like, he remembered, oh, this is the girl I put the curse on. Odds are he would have, like, if this was a different person, he would have put a curse on them beforehand. Like, he would have walked up to the tennis net, whipped out his magic wand, and been like, blah, you're now cursed or something, just to mess with their head. But since he's already done that, right, he was trying to use that as leverage. But anyways, the match continues, and the Emo Kid is getting destroyed. So at this point, the Emo Kid is down about 3-0, and they're only playing one set. Basically, in tennis, you play to 6 games. Whoever gets to 6 games first but win by 2 wins, and if you get to 6-6, you play a tiebreaker. But anyways, right, Luna's up 3-0, so absolutely smoking the Emo Kid. And it's Luna's serve, and she serves it in, and it is very clearly a winning shot. However, it was close, right? It wasn't like, it was clearly in, but it wasn't like in by so far that like you'd have to be like crazy to say that it was out, right? And the Emo Kid was like out. Because if you don't know, you make your own calls when you play tennis. There's no umpire unless you're really good. And this was a lower level. I think in the final match, like the final match of their big tournament, they might have like someone like officiating it. But the Emo Kid was like out. And Luna kind of looked at him like, no, dude, that wasn't. But, like, she can't really do anything. So they keep playing, right? And Luna continues to crush this kid. Continues to crush this fool, bro. Like, and the Emo Kid continues to cheat. However, the Emo Kid is really only cheating when it's, like, I don't know, kind of close. So if, like, Luna hits a really good shot, but it's kind of close, the Emo Kid will just call it out. And this is super frustrating to Luna because she's losing a lot more points than she needs to, but she's still winning. It's currently 5-1. So if Luna wins one more game, then it's over, right? She wins the match and like it's done with the Emo Kid. And at this point, right, I think other matches were kind of like getting on with, and like there were like more people were finishing, so parents were kind of like coming over and they were watching, and like more of the staff officials decided to watch this game just because less matches were being played because more people were winning and losing and kind of less matches were going on. So at this point, right, it was like 5-1 Luna, and there were a bunch of people watching at this point. And so Luna hits a shot that is very clearly a forehand winner. She hits it, smacks it. It's not even like the other ones that is kind of close. This one was so clearly in, it was in by like 2 or 3 feet. And the Emo Kid is like, that was out, by the way. And Luna's like, dude, like, I've been letting you have some really close calls recently, but that was so clearly in, I don't know how else to say it. Like, I give you the benefit of the doubt of all the other stuff, but that one was so clearly in, I can't let it stand. Luna basically slips and she's like, nah, I'm done, bro. And the emo kid starts getting mad and he's like, hey, like, you must respect my authority for point calling. And I guess technically you do, but then again, like, one of the camp people was watching the whole thing go down, and he started to pay more attention. So he's watching the emo kid, and the emo kid is getting so angry. So once again, they start another point. The emo kid takes that point, even though he's obviously losing, right? And Luna hits another shot, and the emo kid, it's not even that Luna's shot was good. The emo kid just shanks it into the net, like he completely misses it. And the emo kid was like, oh, by the way, your shot was so out. And it was so clearly in. And Luna's like, dude, you can't just call everything out when you lose. And at this point, the emo kid said, like, I'm going to do what I want because it's my authority and you have to deal with it. And at this point, right, the camp counselor had kind of noticed what was going on and was like, all right, I got to come in here. I got to put a stop to this. So the camp counselor, starts to walk on the court and is like, what's going on, guys? And the emo kid is so angry at this point because he's losing and he's just mad. And oh my God, this is where the emo kid snaps. So the camp counselor is walking over to the emo kid and is like, all right, can you explain what's going on here? Like, it looked like that point was very clearly in. Why did you call it out? And when the camp counselor says to the emo kid that it was clearly in and asked him, kind of questioned his call, the emo kid, already super salty and already molding super hard, being super angry already, just completely loses it. And he takes his racket and he goes, rah, and he whips around and he smashes it into the camp counselor. And like the camp counselor stumbles back and it's like, oh my God. Because like the racket had hit his arm. It had like broken the skin a little bit. So it was a little bloody and it wasn't that bad. He didn't break anything. He didn't like hit a major artery or something. But the racket smashed into the camp counselor and like kind of like broke into his skin. So the camp counselor starts yelling like, are you crazy? Like, why would you do that? I was literally asking about a call and you attacked me. And there was another camp counselor watching the whole thing and he starts walking in. But before they could do anything, you see this woman with kind of like a side part, like it kind of like the Karen haircut. Maybe she was a nice woman, but I'm just describing what I was told. By the way, the story was sent into my Instagram. Go ahead and follow me there. It's in the description. Even if you don't want to send in the story, just follow me there. It makes me feel good. But anyways, this woman walks on the court. She kind of looks like a Karen. Maybe she's super nice. I'm just saying it how it is, right? Walks on, grabs the emo kid by the back of by like the scruff of his shirt and drags him away. And he's like, ma'am. He's like, ma'am, I was winning. The emo kid literally had the audacity, as he was being dragged off court for attacking one of the camp counselors, to say that he was winning. What? Yeah, so the other camp counselor, I mean, the one that got hit with the rackets, like, I got to get this checked up. Like, I think I'm fine, but, like, I just want to make sure that, like, it didn't break anything farther because his skin was kind of bloodied up. And the other camp counselor, the one that was not attacked by the emo kid, walked up and said, hey, Luna, like, sorry you had to deal with that. We're giving you the win, obviously. And so sure enough, Luna went on. Luna didn't win the tournament, but, did pretty well. And the emo kid was nowhere to be seen after he's dragged off by his mom. Presumably, his mom was like, all right, like, we're done. Grabbed him and just dragged him off.
Click on the video on screen right now. I know you'll enjoy it. Just click it. Do it.